Hello and welcome to day 218 in the Not Alone Today chronological Bible reading plan. Today we begin the book of Lamentations and we're in chapters 1, 2 and chapter 3 up to verse 36. We are switching translations today and we will be in the New King James Version for the next few days. How lonely sits the city that was full of people. How like a widow is she who was great among the nations. The princess among the provinces has become a slave. She weeps bitterly in the night, her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she has none to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They have become her enemies. Judah has gone into captivity, under affliction and hard servitude. She dwells among the nations, she finds no rest. All her persecutors overtake her in dire straits. The roads to Zion mourn, because no one comes to the set feasts. All her gates are desolate, her priests sigh. Her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness. Her adversaries have become the master, her enemies prosper. For the Lord has afflicted her because of the multitude of her transgressions. Her children have gone into captivity before the enemy, and from the daughter of Zion all her splendor has departed. Her princes have become like deer that find no pasture, that flee without strength before the pursuer. In the days of her affliction and roaming, Jerusalem remembers all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the enemy, with no one to help her. The adversaries saw her and mocked at her downfall. Jerusalem has sinned gravely, therefore she has become vile. All who honored her despise her, because they have seen her nakedness. Yes, she sighs and turns away. Her uncleanness is in her skirts. She did not consider her destiny. Therefore, her collapse was wholesome. She had no comforter. O Lord, behold my affliction, for the enemy is exalted. The adversary has spread his hand over all her pleasant things, for she has seen the nations enter a sanctuary, those whom you commanded not to enter your assembly. All her people sigh, they seek bread. They have given their valuables for food to restore life. See, O Lord, and consider, for I am scorned. Is it nothing to you, all you who pass by? Behold and see. If there is any sorrow like my sorrow which has been brought on me, which the Lord has inflicted in the day of his fierce anger. From above he has sent fire into my bones, and it overpowered them. He has spread a net for my feet and turned me back. He has made me desolate and faint all the day. The yoke of my transgressions was bound. They were woven together by his hands and thrust upon my neck. He made my strength fail. The Lord delivered me into the hands of those whom I am not able to withstand. The Lord has trampled underfoot all my mighty men in my midst. He has called an assembly against me to crush my young men. The Lord trampled as in a winepress the virgin daughter of Judah. For these things I weep. My eye overflows with water, because the Comforter who should restore my life is far from me. My children are desolate because the enemy prevailed. Zion spreads out her hands, but no one comforts her. The Lord has commanded concerning Jacob that those around him become his adversaries. Jerusalem has become an unclean thing among them. The Lord is righteous, for I rebelled against his commandments. Hear now, all peoples, and behold my sorrow. My virgins and my young men have gone into captivity. I called for my lovers, but they deceived me. My priests and my elders breathed their last in the city, while they sought food to restore their life. See, O Lord, that I am in distress. My soul is troubled. My heart is overturned within me, for I have been very rebellious. Outside, the sword bereaves. At home, it is like death. They have heard that I sigh, but no one comforts me. All my enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that you have done it. Bring on the day you have announced, that they may become like me. Let all their wickedness come before you, and do to them as you have done to me, for all my transgressions, for my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. Chapter 2. How the Lord has covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger. He has cast down from heaven to the earth the beauty of Israel, and did not remember his footstool in the day of his anger. The Lord has swallowed up and has not pitied all the dwelling places of Jacob. He has thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He has brought them down to the ground. He has profaned the kingdom and its princes. He has cut off in fierce anger every horn of Israel. He has drawn back his right hand from before the enemy. He has blazed against Jacob like a flaming fire, devouring all around. Standing like an enemy, he has bent his bow. With his right hand, like an adversary, he has slain all who were pleasing to his eye. On the tent of the daughter of Zion, he has poured out his fury like fire. The Lord was like an enemy. He has swallowed up Israel. He has swallowed up all her palaces. He has destroyed her strongholds. He has increased mourning and lamentation in the daughter of Judah. He has done violence to his tabernacle as if it were a garden. He has destroyed his place of assembly. The Lord has caused the appointed feasts and Sabbaths to be forgotten in Zion. In his burning indignation, he has spurned the king and the priest. The Lord has spurned his altar. He has abandoned his sanctuary. He has given up the walls of our palaces into the hand of the enemy. They have made a noise in the house of the Lord as on the day of a set feast. The Lord has purposed to destroy the wall of the daughter of Zion. He has stretched out the line. He has not withdrawn his hand from destroying. Therefore he has caused the rampart and wall to lament. They languished together. Her gates have sunk into the ground. He has destroyed and broken her bars. Her king and her princes are among the nations. The law is no more, and her prophets find no vision from the Lord. The elders of the daughter of Zion sit on the ground and keep silence. They throw dust on their heads and gird themselves with sackcloth. The virgins of Jerusalem bow their heads to the ground. My eyes fail with tears, my heart is troubled, my bile is poured on the ground because of the destruction of the daughter of my people, because the children and the infants faint in the streets of the city. They say to their mothers, "Where is grain and wine?" As they swoon like the wounded in the streets of the city, as their life is poured out in their mother's bosom. How shall I console you? To what shall I liken you, O daughter of Jerusalem? What shall I compare with you that I may comfort you, O virgin daughter of Zion? For your ruin is spread wide as the sea. Who can heal you? Your prophets have seen for you false and deceptive visions. They have not uncovered your iniquity to bring back your captives, but have envisioned for you false prophecies and delusions. All who pass by clap their hands at you. They hiss and shake their heads at the daughter of Jerusalem. Is this the city that is called the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All your enemies have opened their mouth against you. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, "We have swallowed her up. Surely this is the day we have waited for. We have found it. We have seen it. The Lord has done what he purposed. He has fulfilled his word, which he commanded in days of old. He has thrown down and has not pitied, and he has caused an enemy to rejoice over you. He has exalted the horn of your adversaries." Their hearts cried out to the Lord, "O wall of the daughter of Zion, let tears run down like a river day and night. Give yourself no relief. Give your eyes no rest. Arise, cry out in the night. At the beginning of the watches, pour out your heart like water before the face of the Lord. Lift your hands toward him for the life of your young children who faint from hunger at the head of every street. See, O Lord, and consider, to whom have you done this? Should the women hit their offspring, the children they have cuddled? Should the priests and prophets be slain in the sanctuary of the Lord? Young and old lie on the ground in the streets. My virgins and my young men are fallen by the sword. You have slain them in the day of your anger. You have slaughtered and not pitied. You have invited as to a feast day the terrors that surround me. In the day of the Lord's anger, there was no refugee or survivor. Those whom I have borne and brought up, my enemies have destroyed. Chapter 3. I am the man who has seen affliction by the rod of his wrath. He has led me and made me walk in darkness and not in light. Surely he has turned his hand against me time and time again throughout the day. He has aged my flesh and my skin and broken my bones. He has besieged me and surrounded me with bitterness and woe. He has set me in dark places like the dead of long ago. He has edged me in so that I cannot get out. He has made my chain heavy. Even when I cry and shout, he shuts out my prayer. He has blocked my ways with hewn stone, and he has made my paths crooked. He has been to me a bear lying in wait, like a lion in ambush. He has turned aside my ways and torn me in pieces. He has made me desolate. He has bent his bow and set me up as a target for the arrow. He has caused the arrows of his quiver to pierce my loins. I have become the ridicule of all my people, their taunting song all the day. He has filled me with bitterness. He has made me drink wormwood. He has also broken my teeth with gravel and covered me with ashes. You have moved my soul far from peace. I have forgotten prosperity, and I said, my strength and my hope have perished from the Lord. Remember my affliction and roaming, the wormwood and the gall. My soul still remembers and sings within me. This I recall to mind, therefore I have hope. Through the Lord's mercies we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I hope in him. The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him. It is good that one should hope and wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. It is good for a man to bear the yoke in his youth. Let him sit alone and keep silent, because God has laid it on him. Let him put his mouth in the dust. There may yet be hope. Let him give his cheek to the one who strikes him and be full of reproach. For the Lord will not cast off forever. Though he causes grief, yet he will show compassion according to the multitude of his mercies. For he does not afflict willingly, nor grieve the children of men. To crush under one's feet all the prisoners of the earth, to turn aside the justice due a man before the face of the Most High, or subvert a man in his cause. The Lord does not approve. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Today we begin the book of Lamentations, and as usual, when we cross over to a new book, we give an overview of what that book is all about. Lamentations is 5 chapters, and each chapter is a deeply passionate poem that is written in some very rich Hebrew poetry. Many believe that this was written by the weeping prophet Jeremiah. So if you look at the book, the first chapter, 22 verses, the second chapter, 22 verses, the fourth chapter, 22 verses, the third chapter does have 66 verses. So it's thrice the amount of verses you find in the first 2 chapters, which is why we stopped halfway today while reading chapter 3. But the thing to note then, therefore, is in the original Hebrew text, the Hebrew language has 22 alphabets. So each of the 22 alphabets of the Hebrew language in the sequence in which they follow each other is the first letter for each of the verses of each of those chapters. So by the time you would have finished reading chapter 1, for instance, you've read a poem that the first stanza begins, to use the English language, for example, begins with A, and the next stanza begins with B, and the next stanza begins with a C, and the next stanza begins with a D, and it goes on and on like that, except, of course, the alphabets of the Hebrew are different. We have the Aleph, the Bet, the Gimel, the Daleh, and it goes on and on like that. So it's a poem, a passionate poem around the issue of suffering. This is the lamentation of, oh, this has befallen Jerusalem. But also it goes on to actually give a picture, a honest window into what human suffering looks like. While the prophet is writing poetically about a communal trauma. This is a trauma for the whole community, for the whole people of the land of Judah. But it gives us a window into when we do suffer, even as individuals, and gives us some anchors to come back to in such moments like that. And so chapter 1 speaks of Jerusalem as a city being personified like a weeping widow. And by the time we get to chapter 2, we begin to see the anger of the Lord because of the things that had happened within the kingdom of Judah and the city of Jerusalem. And then in chapter 3, we begin to see again the suffering individual, but we also begin to see pictures of hope. This is the chapter where we find the most popular couple of verses in all of the book of Lamentations, verse 22 and 23. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed. His compassion never fails. They are new every morning. Great is his faithfulness. And that's one of the major anchors to come back to when we are going through suffering. Then chapter 4 describes the horrors of the siege, those 2 years of siege from Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonian army, when they laid siege upon Jerusalem for 2 years, making it impossible for people to eat, so much so mothers considered eating their own children and things like that. So chapter 4 describes that. And chapter 5, which is also, again, 22 verses, although this time, even if it's 22 verses, is not an acrostic in the sense of, chapter 1, chapter 2, or the repeated times that was done in chapter 3 and in chapter 4. When chapter 5 is not an acrostic, it's 22 verses, but it's not like every stanza begins or every verse begins sequentially with the following alphabets of the Hebrew language. But in any case, that chapter wraps up as a prayer for restoration, whereby the entire community is begging God to remember their plight and, of course, to have mercy and to intervene. So we're going to read those concluding chapters tomorrow. But for today, a few things stood out to me from where we've read. In chapter 1, for instance, in verse 10, says, the adversary has spread his hand over all her pleasant things, for she has seen the nations enter her sanctuary, those whom you commanded not to enter your assembly. And that phrase, the adversary has spread his hand over all her pleasant things, really struck a chord in my heart and made me pray that the enemy will not have such leeway in our lives to just spread his hand over all the things that are precious to us. I recall our reading from the other day when Ezekiel's wife was described as the delight of his eyes. There are certain things that bring delight to us. Our spouse, our children, our family, the things that mean the most to us. As it were for the people of God, for whom the weeping prophet was lamenting here, or on behalf of whom the weeping prophet was lamenting here, they've lost the things that were pleasant to them. The temple is gone. The palace of the king is gone. Even the king himself is gone. And of course, even they themselves, as a people and a community, they are gone. They are gone into captivity. And so all the pleasant things the enemy touched. The details with which we were told of how they pulled down the temple, pulled down the pillars, broke the things that are too heavy to carry and broke them into pieces so that they could still be carried. The beautiful sea that we've always been wowed about in the temple, that huge basin filled with water, was destroyed and taken into captivity. All the gold paraphernalia, everything was taken away. That is the adversary spreading his hand over all the pleasant things. And I'm praying for you. I'm praying for myself as well. I'm praying for us that the adversary will not have such access to touch the things that are pleasant to us. In the name of Jesus. Our lot is God, and our lot is secure in God. In Jesus' name. Amen. In chapter 2, again, verse 16 stood out to me, where it says, all your enemies have opened their mouth against you. They hiss, they gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Surely this is the day we have waited for. We have found it. We have seen it. That's the enemy rejoicing over Jerusalem. May the enemy not rejoice. May the enemy never have reasons to rejoice over us. For we are more than conquerors through Christ who loves us. And in chapter 3, verse 7, there is a statement there in the latter half. It says, he has made my chain heavy. He has made my chain heavy. Again, of course, that's the chapter that is more or less describing a suffering individual. The man who has seen affliction, he calls it in the beginning. And this brings the human dimension to suffering, as I was saying at the very beginning. The lamentations of the weeping prophet for this community also mirrors the lamentations that we utter when we do suffer. And one of the descriptions of that suffering in verse 7 is that he has made our chain heavy. He has made my chain heavy. And there are times when we do feel like that. But when we do feel like that, like the chain is heavier, we remember the chain breaker, the iron breaker, the one that is able to bring freedom and command deliverances for his people. Is the one of whom it was written again in verse 22 and 23, which I've read earlier on. Through the Lord's mercies we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is his faithfulness. So I'll leave you on that note of hope, and hope that we come again together tomorrow to conclude the book of Lamentations as we forge ahead slowly but surely in the narratives, in the unfolding narratives of the Old Testament. But till then, just remember, you're not alone today. God bless you.